Welcome to GSSI's Mentoring New Volunteers module. Thank you for your interest in this important topic. My name is Margaret Dennis, and I'm the Director of Volunteer Resources for GSSI. In this short module, we will review what mentoring is, why it is so important, what makes a good mentor, and how we are implementing this program here at GSSI. GSSI's mentoring program for new volunteers is all about welcoming them, providing initial preparation, ongoing support, and feedback. Girl Scouting is a volunteer-led organization, and mentors are the first people in a local Girl Scout community that reach out to the new leaders and connect them to their local support team and other available resources. Better new leader support will result in a more successful experience for adult volunteers and therefore for girls. The goals of our mentoring program are straightforward. We want our troop leaders to have a great experience. We want our girls to have fun in Girl Scouting as they participate in a high-quality program. And we want them all to have such an incredible experience that both girls and adults stay in Girl Scouting to fully achieve our ultimate mission of building girls of courage, confidence, and character that make the world a better place. Before we go into details on how we achieve those goals, let us look at what makes a good mentor. Many people feel that it might require special skills. It doesn't, but it does require certain qualities of good role models. Mentors have a personal commitment to be involved with another person, generally for a year. They have a genuine desire to help that person succeed. Mentors take the time to prepare for their role, part of which you are doing today. In addition, you are expected to take the latest leader modules so that you have a better understanding of what preparation your mentee has received. Mentors listen, maintain eye contact, and give mentees their full attention. Let's be honest, we are typically pulled in 1,000 directions. To be a good mentor, it means that you are willing to set aside time for your mentee and focus on their needs for a while. Mentors guide. We are there to help our mentees find their way, not to push them or pull them along. Mentors are insightful and practical. You can provide great insights about being a Girl Scout leader from your own experience. Mentors educate. That means that you help them find resources and how to make discoveries on their own. Remember, your goal is to be out of a job by the end of the year because they will be confident enough that they can spread their wings. Mentors are accessible. They are available as a resource and as a sounding board. Mentors criticize constructively. When necessary, mentors point out areas that need improvement, always focusing on the mentee's behavior, never his or her character. Mentors are supportive. They encourage at all times and care about the mentee and their experience. Just as you are a resource to the new troop leaders, you also have a support team, both at the local volunteer service team as well as at council staff areas. You will be working with all of us to better serve the troop volunteers and therefore the girls. Communication will be critical in this work, so be sure to keep in contact with your service team and with council staff. Mentoring systems can look very different from service area to service area, and may even vary within an area. The key is to implement one that works for the volunteers in your service area. In GSSI, we have the following different modules. This model allows for each new leader to be paired with their own mentor. This provides for a one-on-one relationship between an experienced leader and a new leader. In some cases, mentors are assigned more than one mentee, but never more than 5. They might be assigned following different criteria. By Girl Scout grade level, a mentor is appointed for each Girl Scout grade level. This allows the mentor to support a group of leaders at the same grade level and helps connect the leaders of that grade level to support one another and share ideas. So for example, you might have one mentor for all the new Daisy Troop leaders, but a different one for the brownies. Some areas may prefer to function with one mentor at each school. Mentors might work with new leaders to have troop meetings on the same night so that they can provide each other support. Service units that cover a large area may want to use this option. This model appoints mentors to leaders in their neighborhood or immediate geographical area to make sure they have support right in their backyard. Now that we have discussed some of the general concepts of a successful mentoring program, and you know how you fit in within the overall organizational structure, let's dive into how GSSI's mentor program functions. The new volunteer mentor program can be visualized as a series of steps of progression. We will look at each one of those individually. Your role starts once a volunteer has been recruited, approved as a GSSI volunteer, and has been appointed as a troop leader by council staff. Council staff will contact you and share your mentee's information. Your first duty upon receiving your mentee's information is to contact them and welcome them to GSSI as a fellow volunteer. That welcome can be in one or more of several ways. It might be an email, a phone call, or a handwritten note. However you choose to do it, time is of the essence. You should make contact with your mentee within 2 days of receiving their information. When you contact them, you will want to share which is the best way to contact you, encourage them to sign up for council e-newsletters, and start their training online. You will also want to discuss with them when you can meet in person during the next 2 weeks to continue their preparation for their role. Remind them that they will not be able to start as a troop leader until all these steps are completed. Be sure to share information with your area volunteer support organizer or service team. They will be the ones that help track and support all leaders and indirect service volunteers in your location. After your first contact and welcome, you will want to give them a quick reminder of your face-to-face meeting and make sure that they have completed the online modules prior to your meeting. The goals of this first meeting are to establish a relationship, to discuss your role as their mentor, review their role as troop leader by answering any questions they may have from the online modules, and looking over resources, and review next steps in their process to becoming a troop leader. We'll go into more detail in a moment, but let's first address some logistics about this meeting, including what you and your mentee should do before the meeting. As the mentor, you want to set a good example of being prepared. Be sure to review the online modules so that you will know what the new volunteer has learned. The GSSI modules are updated annually, so there may be new resources that you didn't know about. Be sure to feel comfortable with the material presented. Contact me if you have any questions. You will also want to have the printed materials you will be referencing. You'll need to work with your local service team to gather those. It is also recommended, but not required, that you have a laptop or computer to access the internet for the meeting. This is a great opportunity to show the new leader some of the resources and where to find things. Be sure that the new volunteer has completed the online modules required. Encourage them to write down any questions they have. They might be about material covered in the modules or other questions that have popped up since. The logistics will be different for each team because you will want to set them to be convenient and comfortable for those involved. For example, you may want to meet at a coffee house or quiet restaurant, reserve a conference room at your local library or community center, or meet in your home if that is what works best for you. Try to select a location that will allow you a few interruptions for at least 2 hours. It may not take that long, or it may take longer. It will depend on the amount of questions your mentee has. Work with your area service team to decide who should attend. It can be just one-on-one of you and your mentee, or if you have several mentees, you can meet together. Another option is to meet with another mentor and their group of mentees. Now that you have your meeting set up And both you and the mentee or mentees are prepared, let's talk about what you will cover in this meeting. Again, remembering the goals for the meeting. Since you will be mentoring this volunteer for a year, spend some time getting to know each other. How much you share about yourself is up to you, but you will definitely want to mention your Girl Scout participation, for example. If you were a member as a child, how long have you been a Girl Scout volunteer? And what volunteer roles you have had? And remember, position titles won't mean anything to this new volunteer. So instead, explain some of the duties you've had. Get to know them by asking why they volunteered to be a leader and what their interests are. Next, you will want to explain what your role as a mentor includes and what it doesn't. Be sure to explain that you should be the first person they contact when they have questions and can't find the answers on their own. You may not always know the answer, but you will look for it together, or you will find out the answer from your support team. Express that your goal is for them to become comfortable with their role so they won't need you as much as time goes on. Reassure them that you will be in contact with them periodically, just to check in on them and to give them reminders of upcoming opportunities and deadlines. While you hope to keep a relationship beyond this first year, the official mentoring relationship ends at the end of their first term. By then, they will be ready for a broader support team. The next two goals will take the longest time and may not be completed by the end of this meeting. You will spend time discussing their role as troop leader by reviewing the contents of the Volunteer Essentials Handbook and how to use the safety activity checkpoints. You won't be reading those manuals together, but GSSI will provide you with an outline to point out highlights of the material included. This will be a great opportunity to answer their questions as you discuss each topic. You will also be going over the document which details the expectations of a troop leader. Once they understand their duties, they will need to sign the agreement and you will return it to the council office. The final part of this meeting will be discussing what happens next. Depending on time, you may want to go into details or just outline what the steps and simply touch base electronically or by phone in the next few weeks. This is the beginning of the phase called early guidance, which basically means helping them get their troops started once they are trained. It will involve working with mentees, local volunteer service teams, and council staff. You may discuss these at your initial meeting, at follow-up meetings, or as needed. The items we will discuss does not mean that you are doing these things for the new leader. Rather, that you are assisting as needed to help them get the resources they need to get their troops started. For example, you will probably not be out recruiting girls for this troop, but you might share ideas of how you invited more girls to join your troop, or put the new volunteer in contact with the local recruitment team. If they need help with banking, you can provide guidance to which bank is typically used in your town and help them get in contact with the appropriate person at the council office for the paperwork to open an account. If they need specific ideas on where to hold troop meetings in your community, you can suggest locations you know have been supportive of other troops and help them with the process. Offer to attend their parent or troop meeting if they seem nervous or unsure, but not to run the meeting for them, just as support. If they need further guidance or practical advice on figuring out troop dues, you may have ideas to share on what amounts other troops in your area set as dues. You may also have to help them navigate membership registration and online troop management. You will definitely want to plug them into the local volunteer support team by inviting them to meet other volunteers in your area. By now, probably a month has passed and the troop is up and running. You have been critical in this startup process, but your mentoring is not done. You will want to continue to encourage and support your mentee. You should touch base with your mentee at least once a month throughout their term, just to encourage them and make sure they don't have questions. These contacts can be through email, in person, handwritten notes, etc. In your mentoring materials, you will receive a month-by-month list of suggested items to discuss with them. Feel free to add your own reminders and notices. Continue to invite them to volunteer meetings and attend those with them. Towards the end of their term as troop leader, the council will ask you to assist in their year-end assessment. Assessments can be informal or formal. With this process of continual mentoring, we hope that any issues that have arisen have been resolved as they come up. Our goal is that 100% of your mentees will have had a great experience and will want to continue. Your recommendation of those leaders will be a large consideration on whether they will be reappointed to that position for another term or if another volunteer role is a better fit. Remember that you are not mentoring the new volunteers by yourself, nor are you taking the place of the service team. You are helping the new leaders become incorporated into our council. A few last tips, reminders about your role as a mentor to new troop leaders. First, you have been appointed as a mentor because the council staff and your peers believe in you. You have proven to be a good role model for others, and we know that you are committed to helping other volunteers have a great experience in Girl Scouting. We know you will be a friend and a mentor to the new leader. Be encouraging. Make sure you don't make the leader feel bad if all the suggested items for a certain month are not met. Help make plans to accomplish them. Contact the new leader to remind them of the date, time, and location of local volunteer meetings. Stay with them at the meetings to make sure they feel included. Try to listen through their ears and hear what is being discussed as if you were hearing it for the first time. Introduce them to people, draw them into conversations. Help your leader understand Girl Scout terms, information discussed at meetings, resources available to use, and upcoming Girl Scout events. Be helpful, but don't do the job for them. They will feel inadequate if you take over all the things that confuse or intimidate them. Plus, they may become too dependent on you. Know your limits. If you don't have the answer, it's okay to say so. Help them find the answers together. If a real problem arises, hold their hand through solving it, or contact a service team or staff council member if necessary. Remember that new leaders may need you more the first month than the third, and as they continue to develop skills, take a step back a little more each month. Express an interest in how things are going, but don't check up on them in a way that might make them feel you don't trust them. Establish a pattern to check in with them. Don't wait for them to call and ask for help or clarification, since they may not even realize they need help until you ask. Your role as mentor to new volunteers is critical. We truly appreciate your commitment and dedication. If you have any questions about the mentoring program, contact your local service team or meet at the council office. Thank you for making a difference.